Hello, my name is Iris Berman. I'm a licensed massage therapist, and I am here to discuss how to handle the stresses and strains focused around your head, neck, and face so that you can offset some of the challenges that you may be facing and some of the feelings that you may be having around this isolation and quarantine that we're all experiencing. Before we begin, I want to reinforce the idea of creating a space that will give you that sense of calm, away from the fray. If you are living alone, that shouldn't be that hard, but if you're living with other people, make an agreement that they will either leave you alone or join you and share in this experience. But you want to create a calming space. So you may do that with special lighting or candles or music, whatever it is that helps you to get there. I do want to mention that we're going to be working in the head, so if your hair is tied back with anything or up in any way, to let it go down, because we're going to go into the scalp. If you are wearing contacts, it's a good time to remove them, because we're also going to go around the eyes. And you don't really want to be having contacts in when you do that. All right, let's begin. Once you have found yourself in this nice quiet place, we're going to do some preparation. So you're going to take your hands, you're going to rub them together. Take off my glasses. And you're going to rub them together and get them nice and warm, hot, steaming, smoking. Get it nice and warm. And take these nice warm hands and cup them over your eyes. Breathing is a very valuable thing to do right now. So taking a breath and breathe out. Letting everything go. You're separating yourself from what was before and creating a new, relaxing space right here, right now. Taking another breath and let that go. Keep doing that for about 10 breaths, a minute or so, whatever it takes. Feel yourself calming. Feel the stress draining away and feel yourself just coming into center. We're going to start with working on muscles of the scalp. Now, let me say something about the scalp. The scalp has muscles in the front here, a couple muscles on the side, and a couple muscles on the back. And they're connected by this little sheath of tissue called fascia. Now, when those muscles if they're all tight and contracted and they're all pulling down, they're going to pull on that layer of fascia and it's going to feel like a vice grip around your head. So if you're feeling that, then we're about to do something that's really going to make a difference for you. So you're going to start with the area above the eyebrows. That's called the frontalis muscle, for those who know your muscles. Otherwise, it's just your forehead. So you're going to take the flats of your hands and the tips of your fingers, the flats and tips of your fingers, and starting just above the eyebrow, you're going to press in. Now, if you are feeling sensitivity, just doing that, remember what I'd said in the overview about the edge of receptivity. Just go deep enough to receive your touch. You don't have to overdo it. Give as much pressure as you can possibly tolerate. So you're going to compress it. You're going to also take and do little circles around the eyes. And then you're going to work your way up the forehead toward the top of your head. Now, as you're going, if you feel a side needs more attention, give it to it. Take it slower. This is not about speed. You're going to take the time to take care of yourself. Now compare, as you're sensing, the left side from the right. Feel for pliability of tissue, whether it's hard or soft. Is it feel stuck to the tissue below? You should be able to move the superficial tissue over the deep. And what that means is you're going to take your fingers and you're going to marry into the skin. You're not stroking over the skin. You're going to marry to the skin and move the skin over what's beneath it. And that's going to really make a difference for you. So you do that all the way up to here. As you do it, feel for anything on the left side or the right side that needs more attention. Take your time. Give it the attention that it needs. You can do circular motions. You can do compressive motions. And when you're done, you can even do a nice long stroke to smooth it out. Once you have done that, you're going to come to the eye. Now, the eye is surrounded by a socket, and the socket is made of bone. The upper part of that socket is called the orbital ridge. So we're going to be working that next. To start with, you take your fingers or your thumbs, whichever one you want, and go into at the top of the nose, between the eyes, just press in. Now, for a lot of you, that is going to be sensitive. If it is, go as light as you need to. Feel one side or the other that might need more attention. And don't forget to breathe. Breathe in. Focus on the area that you're touching. Breathe out. Release any tension, strain, discomfort that you can. And you do that until you feel that that has normalized and that has equalized on either side. When it feels like it's caused some relief, you want to just feel for tension relieving, sensation relieving, and when you feel like you have that, we're ready to move on. We're going to go further across the orbital ridge. With your finger and your thumb, you're going to squeeze, pinch that whole orbital ridge. Now, don't dig deep into your eye, just on that bony part, so you don't want to hurt your eyeball while you're at it. So you're going to come across, and again, if while you're going, there is any area that has greater sensitivity, hang out there. Or if it's got greater density, or if it feels different in a way that asks you to work on it more, do so. And you're going to take it all the way out to the corner of the eye where your temple is. And then you're going to do circles, compressions around the temple. That can feel so good when you do that. When you feel like you've created release in that area, we're going to now go to the bottom of the eye socket. And this is the cheekbone, also known as the zygomatic ridge. So you're going to pinch from the outer part of your eye, make little circles, pull, twist. You can even grab the tissue and twist. Be careful around the tissue just beneath your eye. You don't want to pull on that too much, but you press and squeeze. As you get to the center at the nose, you'll feel a little bony area on either side of your nose. That's the bony section of your nose. You're going to do some little circles going up and trace up the top of the nose. Trace on up to the top. As you're doing that, let me just remind you that following the contours of bones and muscles will tell you that you're in the right place. It will just all the edges and bone ridges and bumps on the bones are all there for attachment of tendons, of muscles. And so when you are following along the ridge of that bone, you will be following along points where muscles attach. And you can release muscles by working on their attachments. When we get to places where you can more easily feel the muscle fibers, you're going to trace along the edge of a muscle, and the same thing will be true. You'll be addressing the areas that need the attention. So once you've made it to the top of the nose here, back to where we began. So just to recap, we went from the forehead up to the top. We did the center of the nose. We went all the way out the side over the orbital ridge, worked a little bit in the temple, and came along underneath the eye socket, along the zygomatic ridge, stopped at the base of the nose, and went on up to the top. So we did a nice little circuit right there. Well, now you're going to draw down along the nose and end up right at the mouth. So now your hands are going to be right on the upper teeth area and the upper gums. So feel that. Sometimes those gums can be really sensitive. Feel that and work your way from the center on out to the outer edge of the mouth. At this point, if you lift up a little bit, push upward a little bit, you'll feel the bottom edge of that zygomatic ridge. Work on that. That can be really nice to work on if you've got tension there. Work on that with circular motion all the way back to the ear again. And you're going to be heading back to what's called the jaw joint, or the TMJ. Some of you may have heard of that, the temporomandibular joint. You're going to come by this TMJ and scoot down towards the jaw. Now you're going to feel the mandible, or the jawbone, the bottom of your mouth. You're going to feel that edge. Pinch it with your fingers and your thumb. pinch along that. Yes, and again, feel left side to right side, feel if there's a difference. If there is, give a little extra attention. Come all the way to the chin. You might slide back and come back again. You can do these over and over again. Now you will have worked around the gums and the mouth and the cheeks. Now you're going to take this little bit of a waddle that happens underneath your chin. Grab a hold of that tissue. Pull a little bit. Shake it back and forth. Go down a little deeper. You can get a bigger handle on that. Shake it back and forth. You'd be surprised at how much tension can happen in the neck. Amazing. Just feel that. You can pull it, twist it, shake it, whatever makes it feel better. Okay. We're going to go back to the skull now because we only just did that first part. We're going to start from the side, and this is where having your hair loose is going to be really a good thing. Now, of course, if you don't have hair, you have very short hair, there won't be a problem. But you want your hair loose if you have long hair. So we're going to focus on a muscle on the side of the head. For those who know your muscles, it's called the temporalis. It starts from above the ear and goes to the top of the head. So you go just above the ear, again with your fingertips and the flats of your fingers. Give some compressions, press in, if it's sensitivity. Sense for that. Notice what may need additional attention, and don't forget to breathe. Breathe in, focusing on the area that you're touching, and breathe out and release anything that you can from that area. You're going to make circular motions all along that muscle, slowly working your way to the top of your head. Really feel that muscle. If you've tend to headaches and migraines, this is going to be a very familiar territory to you. Go all the way up. Okay, now we're going to go to the back of the head. So there's a couple muscles at the back of the head. That's the occipitalis. And you're going to start at above the neck, cervical vertebrae, into the skull. And you just go, and you'll feel it as you go. If there's sensitivity, you'll really know it. Otherwise, just go into that area. Release what you can. If you have the ability to reach behind and grab the base of your neck and just press into the vertebrae on either side and go down as far down your neck as possible. Now, this is where some of these fun tools come into play. Some of these things like these, or the wooden double knobs, or the 2 tennis balls in a sock, these come in handy. You take these and you place them under your neck and lay on them and roll your head back and forth, kind of you're doing the massage with your head moving over the point of contact. So you have different ones that can do different things. Please use those. You can also take something that's got rollers that has a handle and go up and down your neck and up and down your head if you have those around. If you don't have those around and you're willing to sacrifice a towel, take 1/4 of the towel lengthwise and tie 2 knots in it close together, and you can put it against your head and pull, or you can lay on them and get the same effect. These are ways to use tools to help you get into the back of your neck, which is a little harder to do. Now we're going to end with a very interesting thing. I know sometimes you say, oh, I could pull my hair out. Well, we're going to pull hair, but we're not going to pull it out. So the scalp is this soft tissue that sits over the skull. Well, sometimes that gets stuck down there, and we're going to try and get some motion in there. So you are going to reach up, grab a chunk of hair, and squeeze and pull it slightly away from the head. Don't pull your hair out, just slightly away. You can twist it slightly. You can do it in circles slightly, but really feel the scalp being pulled from the skull. And it should have clear motion between those. If it doesn't, that's your work. And keep moving around all over the skull until you have reached it all. And pull. And this will give you, yes, you can feel this sense of release, this sense of calm. So, this is the work that we have to do today. In another one, we're going to tape you into the arms, the legs, and the trunk. But for right now, let's see if you could have gotten some relief from working your head, neck, and face. And do it as much as you want, as often as you want. Take care of yourself. Take care of others. Help somebody else take care of themselves. But for whatever you do, stay safe. Thank you, and good luck.